purpose of today is an introduction and to make a difference to as many lives as possible. They get so much value out of today, so that's my gift to them. And if they resonate, they move on with me. My path has been turbulent from the get-go. So I experienced my parents' divorce when I was only 5 years old. So I know what it is to kind of have that level of diplomacy between two homes, because they both remarried, and it was like, you're not allowed to say what you heard here over here and all of that. So from a very young age, I learned that although they were adults, they weren't necessarily adult-like in their relationship styles and their communication. I remember being a child and being really upset. I thought that adults, once they hit 18, they were really mature. But actually, I found that they were like little children, really frustrated or upset with their own stuff. So that was my main starting point. But then ultimately, as life went on and so things unraveled, by the time I was 20, I'd been married, divorced and lost a child, and it was an abusive relationship. And so that, although it hurt me for so many years, when I eventually stopped asking the question, why me? And I said, what for? It then became apparent that actually my journey was to be able to help a lot of other women, not necessarily going through domestic violence or abuse or anything like that, but rather we often overstay our welcome, or we often overstay where we don't need to be. And that's because of our fears, because what if we can't find anything better, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Often we don't leave a job, a position, an opportunity, or a role or a relationship because we're afraid of who would I become if I finally let go of all of that. So that's why relationships for me is because the quality of our life ultimately is down to the quality of our relationships. So when we learn to manage, one, our relationships outside of us, but even before doing that, our relationship with ourselves, and knowing that ultimately this relationship with ourselves is the most important one. Because when we've got this one shining, and when we realize that we're whole and complete just the way we are, then we can just bring so much beauty and synergy into our relationships, and life just totally transforms as a result of that. And that's my commitment. I know that if people transform their relationship with themselves, they can transform any relationship, and that can bring, you know, job success, career success, relationships in every area. It just brings joy and happiness if they're able to reunite with who they are and with those around them. The reason why, in many cases, women can often appear invisible is because they're actually running a lot of those limiting beliefs, which is, I'm unworthy, I'm not good enough, or I don't belong, or I can't trust myself, I can't trust others. So all these limiting beliefs lead us to gradually just seclude ourselves, and ultimately we may not intend to do it, but the way we get responded to, if you like, the way our partners respond to us is that, well, okay, fine. You know, because if we can't give light from ourselves, we can't expect anyone else to give us the light. And women ultimately realize that. Rather than going, why can't you acknowledge me? Why can't you love me? Why can't you respect me? Why can't you trust me? No, it's because we're not doing it within ourselves first. And only when we do that within ourselves can we ever put ourselves in situations where other people are going to do the same. Blossom and become. Well, it's the whole journey. It's a heroine's journey back to self-love. So having lived a whole life journey of looking for love outside, looking for love, who's going to love me, who's going to approve of me, because we're addicted to that. Who's going to like me, who's going to approve of me, who's going to love me? And ultimately when you discover, it's not outside of you. You blossom and the bee comes. A lot of the time as women, we uproot ourselves, you know? We're this beautiful flower, and then someone comes along and we're just like, oh, we fall in love, and we just, here you go, here's my heart. And we uproot ourselves, and we forget that actually you need to remain centered, you need to remain here, you blossoming, grounded. And when you do, when you really blossom, everything begins to happen. So the reason why it's called Blossom and Become is because there's a beautiful quote. The quote is by Sri Kumar Rao, when the flower blossoms, the bee comes. And I love that, because the whole idea is when I blossom as a human being, I become. And if you look at the play on words, become, the bee comes, whatever that is. So rather than going around running for that bee, what I'm doing is allowing life to come to me, whether it's opportunity, relationship, whatever it is, it's allowing that to come to me as a result of me blossoming. So this is a heroine's journey. It's my journey for every single one of those relationships, many of them. And it's the, oh my goodness, did she really do that? I can't believe she did that. And it will really give insight to a lot of women that they're not alone, and no matter how bad things get, it will pass, and there will be a gift at the end of that journey.